Beetlejuice, the bio-exorcist. Troubled by the living, is death a problem and not the solution? Unhappy with eternity, having difficulty adjusting? Call Beetlejuice. Beetle.
That's it? There's no number or instructions?
Nothing. The bio-exorcist. I don't get
it. So, Drew, would you hire Beetlejuice? Does that flyer entice you?
A bio-exorcist? Of course I'm going to hire him. I got to get these people out of my damn house.
Isn't that like a hitman? Like
a bio-exorcist, I guess he technically is a hitman. I don't know. Would you rather him be named? So would you rather hire a guy named Beetlejuice or Beetlegeist? Like, I feel like Beetlegeist doesn't sound as like amateur. Like Beetlejuice sounds amateur. Beetlegeist sounds more like
Beetlegeist
official.
sounds like exotic. Sounds like
it's
a type of guy that does business.
That's what I mean. Like that's a bio-exorcist there, Beetlegeist. So
Beetlegeist.
Beetlegeist. Welcome back. This is the Last Row Podcast. This is episode 140. If you are new to the show, check out our website, thelastrowpodcast.com. Follow us on X/Twitter @thelastrowpod, Instagram, Facebook.com. Check us out on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. And if you guys are enjoying the show, please consider leaving us a 5-star review. Thanks to everyone that did so far. We're finally here with Beetlegeist.
Beetlegeist. You say it so nice. Please consider.
Please consider. Don't leave us a damn review.
Leave us the review, damn it.
Or else I'm calling Beetlegeist after you.
Beetlegeist. Did you just call a hit out on our potential listeners? Beetlejuice, March 30th, 1988. Were you scared of this movie at all as a youth?
I don't recall like when I first saw it, but I know that he seemed creepy, and it's a Tim Burton movie, so it's like it's got those weird Burton type creep things. So I guess it creeped me out a little bit.
I have some childhood memories of not wanting to see this movie, like until I was like, I don't know, 8 or 10 or something like that. But as a ute, I remember being scared of this.
I was not in the theater on March 30th, 1988.
No,
I'll put it that way.
Nope. Runtime 1 hour 32 minutes, just right.
Just right. Yeah,
a little bit short.
Actually perfect.
It
felt short
for this. Yeah.
It could have used another 10 minutes, I think.
Comedy/horror, directed by Timothy Burton. Drew, what you know about Tim Burton?
Well, I know we made a movie called Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, a little movie called Pee-wee.
Is this how many Burton movies have we done now? We did Edward Scissorhands. We did this.
2.
We're doing this. We did Batman Returns.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Did we do any others?
Oh, I think that's it.
All right. It just feels like we've done a lot of Burton movies. I don't know why. We're always talking about Tim Burton.
We talk about him a lot for some reason.
Full-blown Burton.
Yeah. IMDb 7.5 out of 10.
Too low, maybe.
Maybe too low.
Maybe a little too low.
Rotten Tomato 86%.
That's about right.
That's about right. Metacritic 70%.
That's about right.
Too low. Letterboxd 3.8 out of 5.
I think I gave it 4.5 on this. I'll be honest.
At least a 4.1.
I think I gave it a 4.5.
After Barbara and Adam Maitland die in a car accident, they're dead.
They're dead.
They find themselves stuck, haunting their country residence, unable to leave the house. When the unbearable Dietzes and teen daughter Lydia buy the home, the Maitlands attempt to scare them away without success. Their efforts attract Beetlejuice, a rambunctious spirit whose help quickly becomes dangerous for the Maitlands and innocent Lydia.
Hey, they hired him. He was only doing what he was hired to do, right? I mean, they said the name. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, hire him for a job. They didn't know what they were doing.
They didn't know what they were doing. They did not know what they were doing. Oh, man. Here's some good taglines here. All right. Tagline. Say it once. Say it twice. But we dare you to say it 3 times.
It's too long.
That reminds me of the auction guy from the old ESPN. Going once.
Going once. Going twice.
They got rid of that guy.
It's too long.
He's guaranteed to put some life in your afterlife.
Sure. I like it.
All right. I can dig it. Spinning head.
Doesn't
make any sense.
I think you missed the rest of the sentence there.
I pasted exactly what IMDb did. Okay.
Yeah.
He's the ghost with the most.
Now we're talking.
I mean, he says it.
Now
So
we're talking.
in this house, if you've seen one ghost, you haven't seen them all.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
The Name and Laughter from the Hereafter.
All right.
I'm going with Ghost with the most. That's my favorite.
I like put some life into your afterlife.
Yeah,
Kind of like that.
It's a good pun. It's a good pun.
Yeah, kind of like it.
So this movie had a $15 million budget, and I don't know if this will shock you to your core, listeners, in Badway, but I think I recall seeing that it had a $1 million special effects budget, which is pretty impressive given the way this movie looked. I think it looked great.
Yeah.
Especially with some of the ghost effects and things like that. It was really well done. And then it had a return of 74 million worldwide gross. I mean, a pretty big hit given the fact that, like, who knew what Beetlejuice was at that time? We don't get new intellectual property these days a lot. Like, I think it's September 2023. The Creator came out, and that's like one of those things where it's like, oh man, it's new IP. It's not a superhero movie. It's not a
remake.
A
it's not a threequel.
Which is cool.
Yeah, it's a classic 80s character movie. Like, it's Beetlejuice. Who the hell's Beetlejuice? I don't know. It's the 80s. It's weird.
So why not?
You don't need to explain it. It's some dead guy.
Why not? Yeah. It's did you know this is Oscar winning movie, by the way? It won for makeup, best makeup.
Very, very few Oscar winners do we get on the Last Row podcast.
Yeah. So this is an Oscar movie. This might be our most, I don't know, successful movie. There's a bunch of other awards. I won't go through all of them, but there was the ASFFA, the ones that we talked about last time. It won for best horror film. Keaton was nominated. There's a bunch of other folks. Burton was nominated for best director. Blah blah blah. But the two that really matter are the BAFTAs and the Kids' Choice Awards.
Got a Ball and Ass Fun Times Award.
Yeah.
Nice.
So before we talk about the BAFTAs, I'll just mention the BAFTAs. So again, nominated for best special effects, nominated for best makeup. Let me talk about the Kids' Choice Awards for a second.
Yes.
We just talked about this. Were you scared about this movie? This was the Kids' Choice Award for favorite movie. A Kids' Choice Award for favorite movie.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does. Like, when I say I was scared of it as a kid, I mean I was like 4 or 5 years old.
But do they make this anymore? Like, they don't make movies like this for kids, do they?
Well, it was a PG movie, and I feel like it's an adult movie masqueraded as a kid's movie because you could splice all the scenes of Beetlejuice together to make it seem like, the movie's all about Beetlejuice, some crazy character. But yeah, it's a family movie. I wouldn't say it's a kid's movie.
Is it? I don't know. I guess it's weird. It's this weird line.
It has adult themes, sure.
I feel like family movies in the 80s were way more adult oriented than right now. Like, I don't think they make this kind of movie these days.
Well, they say the wussification of America, like is now, like, I guess this is part of it, because back then they didn't hold the kids' hands, right?
No, they didn't. I mean, they had
your favorite's going to be about death and about this dirty, rotten scumbag dead ghost named Beetlejuice. And you're going to love it, and we're going to give you a blimp for it.
Yeah, and he's going to marry your teenage daughter, too, as like a 600-year-old man.
He's come for your daughter, Chuck.
So I got to say this, and this is the first thing we need to talk about, because you mentioned this. Titular character, if that's how you would word it.
That's how he gets down.
How much screen time do you think he has in this movie? And did you remember going into it?
I didn't remember. You told me the number, and it shook me to my core, as you would say. But yeah, I thought he was in at least half the movie, but apparently not.
14.5 minutes out of how many minutes you said earlier? 1 hour and 32?
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
It's crazy. Like, do you think that he should have been in it more? Or do you think that...
No. I'm sure. I mean, who knows how much more? Like 5 minutes more? I don't know, but I think less is more. I think if he's on the screen yelling at you, doing the thing for 45 minutes straight, it can get a little tiresome. So I think less is more in this case.
And do you think that it kept you waiting for more, because Michael Keaton is obviously he's very good in this.
Yeah. I think it was spaced out properly as well too. So yeah, I think it was perfect. Sure, maybe another scene or two, but I never thought like, where's Beetlejuice? He always showed up at just the right time.
Is he supposed to be a good guy or a bad guy? Now, we're going to probably villain scale him, but like, what is the movie trying to tell you? Because it's mixed.
I found myself asking this question. I've seen this movie tons of times. I haven't seen it in a long time. And I was thinking that very question. Like, yeah, he's annoying to the dead, or, to the lady in the office and all that, like former partner or whatever. like how bad is he? Like he did save the Maitlands, right?
Yes, he did.
I
He
mean,
did what
yeah,
he was supposed to do.
Collateral damage. You might have, attempted murder on a few humans that were still living at the time. But like, what is that? What does the dead care about that? Like, I don't think he's
agree.
any more of a bad guy than like, again, maybe is he a demon?
I think he's supposed to be, but like it's not clear. What is a
But
demon anyway?
It's like a human dying is collateral damage. He was trying to scare them out of the house, like he was hired to do.
Dude, he's Team Ghost. Like he's
Yeah.
Team Ghost. Like, Team Human versus Team Ghost. Who's going to win? Like,
I'm not sure he's evil. I think he's bad and he's annoying. He's a bad guy. He's a scumbag.
He's annoying.
Clearly,
He's a scumbag.
Clearly, he's a scumbag, and he's annoying to have around.
So
that's why don't say his name. Don't call him. You don't want to call the annoying friend.
Yeah, like so if someone else said his name 3 times in another part of the town, is he going to show up in both places? Like, does he have 2 jobs? Can he only have one job at one time? Like, if you say his name?
If there's one negative to this movie, it's they don't explain the rules of Beetlejuice very well.
Yeah.
But maybe that's fine, or maybe it's supposed to be that way. Like, I don't know, just don't say his name. Like he's just don't let him know you're partying, man. They'll come to your party, he'll ruin it.
You know how we always joke about like you hate the word scumbag? Like I forgot what you said. This is like probably 100 episodes ago where you said you'd rather be called like a bunch of other names.
Yeah.
Somebody calls you a scumbag.
A lot of things I'd rather be called than scumbag.
So, but when I think about scumbag, and I think you just said it there, I didn't realize this all of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I was picturing Beetlejuice in my head when I think of scumbag. Like
just picking scabs, bugs all around him,
like
earwax.
The weird like moss on his face or algae, like whatever the hell it is, like the dirty
the
teeth.
The teeth. Dude, because scumbag, my definition of scumbag is you're not just a bad guy, you're a bad guy, plus you're also dirty.
You're dirty, right?
You're also dirty. You're a scumbag.
You're dirty. Like I think all these years I didn't know that I was doing it, but in my head I think I was picturing Beetlejuice.
Take a shower and be a better person. Stop annoying everybody.
So you don't think he was supposed to be outright a bad guy? You think he was sort of he was Team Ghost?
Selfish. Yeah, he's a selfish and he's out for himself, think for himself. Will do whatever it takes to please himself. But in the meantime, he might do right by you. Like he saved the Maitland's life.
Yeah,
so
he was hired by them.
Yeah, Lydia said the name 3 times. He did that job, but he also tried to marry her. So you take somebody, you leave some.
Was that his payment? Like I wasn't clear. Like what do you have to pay
he said
him?
He said it before she said the name. He says, "Oh, we'll have to, you're gonna have
figure
to
it
marry
out.
me. I'll save him, but you're gonna have to marry me." She heard that and still said it.
But what about the Maitlands? Like, was he going to charge them? Like, what was his fee? Like, they never talked about that, did they?
No, I think the fee is like he's free. He needs to be free. I don't know why he's trapped in their little.
That's the thing. Like, I wish they gave us more of the rules because, like, was he banished and it's like a genie, right? Like, just like all of a sudden, like he's got to let him out.
That's a good way to put it. Genie in a bottle type situation.
And he's yours until you.
I don't know why the head office lady banished him to the Maitlands, model
cemetery
home, but I don't know. You don't ask those questions in 1988. It's Beetlejuice.
Well, yeah, they did it. You're like, it's Beetlejuice. Hey, have fun. You're gonna like it. You're gonna enjoy this. Yeah. Well, you talk about him as sort of a, I don't want to say anti-hero because I guess maybe you could say that. I know that word's like super overused. But do you remember the cartoon? Did you watch the cartoon?
Sure. Oh, that was like a 7 a.m. before school staple. Oh yeah,
I love that cartoon.
On the WB or something.
He wasn't a good guy, but he wasn't a bad guy there. He was definitely like her friend, right? He was Lydia's friend.
I mean, like he was almost like Slimer territory, was like friend of the Ghostbusters, and also a pain in the ass in the cartoon,
right.
But mostly friendly. Yes.
Did you have any of the toys? Like I think there was 2 sets of toys. Like there was the toys from the movie, and then I think there was TV show toys too.
So the other day you sent me like a YouTube video of like the nostalgic down memory lane of the Beetlejuice line. And now all of them were very familiar to me, but I never owned them. I guess maybe I knew somebody who had them. I never had like one-off or like movie toys, things like that. I only stuck to like the core big stuff. So like I had a bunch of Ghostbusters, a bunch of, Ninja Turtles, a bunch of Transformers. I didn't have like one-offs like movie figures, Crash Test Dummies, Street Sharks.
Oh man.
Like where they were successful lines, but like I didn't really like have those. Like I just had the main stuff. Did you have any Beetlejuices?
So I think I had one of these, and like I used to collect like random weird like one-off things. Like I had some Terminator 2 toys. Like if you remember back in the day, I think it was Playmates and Kenner, and they had the little booklet. Like if you look up, and it's funny because I got something from my parents' basement recently, and I have like a pristine booklet from like 1992 Kenner and Playmates and all that stuff. And I was looking on eBay, and people sell these things for like $20, $30, like in beat up condition. The book. Yeah. Because I guess people want, it's like weird, right? I guess maybe there's this point of nostalgia where you get old enough to buy the things that you had or you didn't have.
Sure.
And you're like, hey, I have disposable income. Like instead of buying eggs or milk this week, I guess I'm going to buy the 1992, Kenner book with.
I don't think they're choosing the Kenner book over the eggs
with and Jurassic
milk.
Park toys.
It's in addition to.
But it's like I have the book right now. I could bust it out, and it's like it's funny because you go back and you're right. There's these random, even like Jurassic Park. There was a whole toy line,
stuff like that. Like I never had any of that stuff.
What about Terminator?
Like, nope, none of that stuff. Just nope. Just full lines. Yeah.
So we were at a toy show. I mean, we've been going to a lot of toy shows. We posted about it on the social channels at The Last Row Pod. Check it out. But one of the things that we saw at one of the local comic shops recently was a RoboCop figure. I know we just got done doing RoboCop, but like it had a cap. Like it had like a cap snapper.
Yes.
What do you even call it? I know it's a gun, but like you could smell it.
The smell of the cap. Oh,
you can smell it.
Get high on that, man. You don't get high, but I would like to get high on that.
Yeah, on the caps.
If it allowed me to be high.
Well, you got those like sidewalk poppers recently too. Yeah. Those are pretty good.
So you had some of these one-offs.
Yeah.
Did you request them or were they like gifted to you? Like, oh, here's a Beetlejuice, Drew. You didn't ask for it, but you appreciated it. Or would you like request these things?
I think there was the big lines that I got. Like I had Ghostbusters, I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I got those by request, and people bought them for me like for my birthday or Christmas.
Like they
or
knew
something
you're
like
going
that.
to Ghostbusters. But were you ever like in the store saying, "Mom, can I buy that Beetlejuice?"
I did. So my great aunt, who was sort of like a grandmother to me, in addition to my grandmother, she used to take us, and my parents would tell you that she spoiled us, right? But she used to take us to like KB Toys. Me and my brother would go there, and like they would bring out a chair for her to sit down because we would just like walk around the store and just look at a bunch of stuff. But she would definitely let me buy things that I just probably shouldn't have bought. Like I didn't need a Beetlejuice figure, but I had a Beetlejuice figure because why not, right? And I remember the one specifically, there's like a disappearing grave. I didn't have this one, but like a friend of mine had this. And it's like you put him in the grave and it has the "Here Lies Beetlejuice" and then he disappears under it. I'm going to post the YouTube video in the chat, or sorry, not in the chat. I'm going to post the YouTube video in the show notes, and you guys write into us, please, thelastrowpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know if you had any of these figures because it brought me back memories. And also the one where he's got like, it's the circus hat or something. And it's like when he's terrorizing them at the end, he had like the bat wings and his hat in his hat.
It's like the carousel hat. Yeah.
I had that one specifically. And I'm pretty sure that there was a line of Happy Meal toys too, or something. I have to look this up.
Might have been towards the cartoon.
But the cartoon, yes.
But still counts.
No, like to answer your question, I wasn't gifted a lot of these. Like these are ones where maybe I would pick it out because I feel like you don't really get like a random, like, hey, I don't know if Kevin's into Ghostbusters. Let me just get him Egon Spengler. Like you typically are going to buy gifts for like the line, right? Like I think we try to do that with your niece or my daughter.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So you didn't have any random toys at all then?
Not that I recall. Nothing super random. They're all like contained lines. Yeah. So when you say people let us know what you have, what if you still have this stuff?
Oh yeah.
Please take a picture. Send us a picture.
Yeah.
Not just a Beetlejuice of anything from like the late 80s, early 90s. We'd love to see it.
We'll have to post some of our stuff. I've been running into a lot of things that I've been finding at my parents' house or whatever. And I found a treasure trove of my old Game Gear, Sega Genesis games. But like Game Gear, I don't even have the Game Gear anymore, but I've got 50 Game Gear games in my closet right now. And it's crazy. Like I found my Game Boy Color. Like, have you tried to turn one of those on recently? Like your eyes will fall out of your sockets because you need a flashlight on it. Like you need the magnifying thing that allows you to actually see the damn screen.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to the movie. So, yeah, I guess we talked about this. Maybe we need to talk about the Maitlands here. Barbara and Adam here. I don't know how you can talk about these guys without talking about the physical evolution of Alec Baldwin as a human being.
Almost unrecognizable Alec Baldwin.
I think he was like
whippersnapper
29.
Alec. Young whippersnapper Alec, huh?
Did he triumphant return of Alec Baldwin to the show? He's also was it Mr. not Van Loo, the other guy, Ruben Pfeffer's boss.
Ruben Pfeffer's boss, and Derby
Also,
and Sons, Derby and Friends,
Stan and Dursky. Like,
oh, yeah. This was pre-fat face Alec Baldwin. This is regular. Not even, I'm not going to call him skinny faced. I'm calling him regular faced.
Are our faces going to turn fat? Like, I feel like even if you're not physically fat, like the older you get, the wider your face.
It has nothing to do with your body shape. It's just the way your head. For some reason, actors have big heads. I think that's why they're actors. It's like they pop out on the screen, and like when a casting director says that that guy or that girl, they've got it. It's because they got a big head.
He's got it.
It is a big head.
He looked unrecognizable to me. I'm like, did you like his flannel? Like I like the flannel. It was a good shirt.
I loved when Beetlejuice turned into his flannel.
Oh yeah, that was that was so funny. Like I couldn't decide what to use for the show picture. Like, but that's also a candidate when he dresses up just like him and he's creeping on his wife.
Oh, regular guy just like you, Chuck.
I have to ask you this because I don't know if you noticed this, but I was thinking about Michael Keaton, Alec Baldwin, all these actors and actresses. This is what 1988 it came out, and it probably filmed in 87. This movie didn't look like 1987 to me. It didn't look like 1988. And Batman 89 comes out a year later from this. You got young Alec Baldwin. You got Michael Keaton, who's essentially unrecognizable. Like, did this look? It doesn't look dated.
It's just because it's in that house. I feel it's in the house, and the Dietzes are wearing weird things that aren't specific to the 80s. So when you compare it to a Batman, where you're seeing Bruce Wayne in his double-breasted suits, and it's very 80s. That's why I feel like there's more timelessness to it.
Yeah. What do you think about the house? Like, it was clearly the nicest one in the town. Like, I didn't really get. They were in Connecticut, is what they said, but I don't really understand this town. It's like a 2-street town.
It looked like they call it a one-stoplight town or something like that.
Yeah.
They call it, But yeah, it's secluded. It's got the barn and the it's like the bridge. You got to take the bridge to get to the house.
Covered bridge.
House sitting on the hill that thinks it's better. Yeah, that whole thing. I bet people hate them.
They're looking down on the town.
Yeah, the people hate whoever lives at that house. I bet I would. I would have like made up things about them that I would say.
It's like Edward Scissorhands, like the house with the creator guy.
Sure. Well, that was a castle. That's like, come on.
Yeah.
Let's tone down the house, buddy. You don't need a castle.
Do you think they inherited this house from a family member? Did they move to this town? Like, it was very, like you said, right? It's 1988. Like, just watch the movie. Who cares, right?
Yeah. I
think
but
they didn't really tell you. Like, their friend was trying to sell the house constantly.
Yeah, I just think she was looking for profit. That's all. And I don't feel there's much more to it than that.
But do you think they bought this place, or did they grow up in this town? Did they move there? Like, it was unclear. Like, was that house always there and then they moved into it?
No, I feel like I don't know. I get the sense that they bought it themselves and fixed it up or something.
Yeah.
That's what I get the feeling. That's why they have such an attachment to it.
Well, look, we can't talk about this movie. I mean, we can't spend time speculating on that without talking about their death. I'm just going to say this, and you can tell me whether you agree or disagree. But I feel like their death was one of the weakest deaths in movie history, in my opinion. I don't know if you feel the same way.
You're talking about like the 5-foot drop?
Yeah, if that.
So they were upside down, right?
Yes.
And let's assume the windows were closed.
Okay.
I suppose one could argue it's a death trap, literal death trap.
So if the car flips upside down, like I know that, what they say, they're in water. So if you haven't seen this movie, I don't know where you've been, but if you haven't seen this movie, they're on a 2-week vacation. They go to the hardware store that they own, and they both go together, and they drive off of a bridge because a dog runs in the front of them, and they fall into the car flips upside down. Like you said, they fall 3 feet off the bridge into maybe 3 feet of water. Like, is that even that deep? Yeah,
like really. You can see the wheels, from the roof is on the bottom, right?
Yeah. It bottomed out.
But if you're stuck, you're stuck. First of all, you got to hit that dog. Number one.
Yeah.
The dog's got to go. If it's between you and the dog, sorry. Anywhere else, I'm swerving, but I'm not swerving on a bridge, first of all. Sorry, I love dogs. Here comes the hate mail. Here it comes.
There you go.
That's
the last
that right there.
podcast.
That's the end of the show right there. We're done.
Cancel you.
So what they say is you don't open the door. If you open the door, the water rushes in faster and the car sinks immediately.
Can you even open the door too from the pressure?
If you can even, right. And you have time to open the window, even if it's starting to be submerged, but it's very, very short, very short. So really, I guess I can't call it a weak death if they're upside down. The windows are upside down. They have no way to open it. I suppose you could suffocate and eventually water comes in and you drown. I don't know.
Could you escape this car? I feel like I could. I don't want to say that I could without really knowing that I could, but I think I could.
Any man worth his weight in manliness would know that, especially in the 80s, 90s, you rip that headset, the headrest off that sucker,
and you bust the window.
You bust the window with the headset. Those things are sharp. You ever take a?
Oh yeah.
Do you ever take one off, man? Let me tell you, that's what you do. You take that off and you jam it into the window. But even then, if it's deep enough, the suction might not allow you to swim up.
I don't know, man. I feel like maybe now you guys can all make fun of me. You can all make fun of me right now.
Yeah.
But I like to prepare for certain situations. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if you have one of these, but I bought a 2-pack on Amazon. It's like a little, tungsten hammer or something?
Oh.
So it has a little sharp, it's like a little piece of plastic, but it looks like a little hammer.
It's like Andy Dufresne's rock hammer from Shawshank?
Yes, sort of. Exactly. Yeah. And it's got a little like sharp edge on it and made out of tungsten that you can bust your window. And I have it in the glove box. So maybe it's not going to save me if it's in the glove box.
Well, I mean, the glove box isn't submerged. You got time.
Yeah, but can you get there? Yeah. Like, I don't know. But I have that in there because I don't know. I guess it was like one day, like, what if I drove off a bridge by accident? What if I got pushed off a bridge while trying to avoid a dog and I fell and got submerged? Like, I have the hammer. I'm going to buy you one. I feel like I should buy you one as a friend, like just so you have it.
It's good stocking stuffer. Yeah.
Just I don't know if you're like me, right? Because like I think about this all the time, but maybe this is not the equivalent. But I get made fun of in this house for this. But do you ever go somewhere? You going on vacation, right?
Yeah.
How many days are you going on vacation? Let's say you go on. Let me ask you a question. You go on vacation for 5 days. How many pairs of underwear are you packing?
How many nights are we talking?
5 days.
5 days, 4 nights.
Okay. 4 nights.
I'm bringing the pair I have on my body.
Yeah, yes.
Plus 5.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. Because the pair on your body doesn't count.
Yes. Yeah. You're wearing that.
Even though it's a night. Even though it's a night.
So I get made fun of all the time because it's like, but what if you had a situation where you needed an extra pair?
You need an extra pair, right? Even though say your pair from the first night is totally clean.
It's clean.
It's like you wore them, but it's like you could wear them again if you had to. But nobody thinks like that. Like you don't want to wear them twice, but like you could. You didn't shit your pants that night.
Let's say you crapped your pants. I don't know why you're right. Like, why wouldn't I need an extra clean one? Because how dare I try to put on
your pants 4 days in a row? You want to make sure you have that clean pair, the extra clean pair.
How dare I think about putting on the one from the other day?
No, but you're absolutely right, though. No, I feel the same way. You could wear that dirty pair from the first night, which is probably fine. But no, you want the extra. Right, I get it. So
I always do day plus one.
So just like your rock hammer to save you from drowning in 3 feet of car water from driving off a bridge, you also want to have the extra pair of underwear. And your mother always says, like everyone's mother always says, make sure you have clean pair of underwear when you leave the house, because if you get into a car accident and die, you don't want to have them find you with dirty holes on underwear with holes in them. So, who wants that? Who wants that?
I keep thinking about if you've seen that last season of Curb Your Enthusiasm with Josh Gad as like the doctor that has like the
with the rip. Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna say this: every man, like, as long as they're not like yellowing, but like let's say there's a rip on the elastic. Mm-hmm. I've got pairs like that, but they're so damn comfortable.
They're comfortable. Yeah, they're a part of you.
You don't want to get rid of them because
there comes a time when the hole gets too big. But you fight that time.
You do.
You do fight it.
So the thing is, you don't want to get rid of them because when you buy a brand new one, the elastic's too tight.
Yeah.
Like
even though it takes like a turn for it to be nice. But still, you don't want to do that.
No, I'm not.
It's like going to get a haircut. It's like you don't want to get a haircut, but when you get a haircut, you feel good about it.
You say, you know what? I should have done this a little bit.
I should have done this a while ago. Yeah.
I still wear the ones with the cut because it's so more comfortable.
Yeah.
So anyway, you learned too much about us here.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this death. I want to understand. So they die, and I saw this, by the way, trivia. If you notice in the movie, everyone who died is sort of living as they died. So they were talking about making them wet the whole time, like just soaked, but they didn't want to do it because they would be uncomfortable all the time. Imagine being an actor, like trying to film a movie, being completely soaking wet.
Yeah, and then the set's wet.
You feel miserable.
By the way, it's like the level of detail that they showed all the other dead people besides them was pretty crazy. Like the one guy with like the scuba guy with he had the shark on his leg.
I loved it.
That's the level of detail, but they couldn't be bothered to be wet. Sorry.
I like the dude that got run over by the car and he was like flattened, like hanging on that thing. So what I don't get this, and again, we're gonna try to break down the rules here. That they didn't give you the rules, so we'll give you what we think the rules are. They're stuck in their house. Is that because they died a certain way, or is everyone who died outside of the people in that lost souls room stuck in their own house? Like, are you perpetually haunting your own house? They didn't die in the house.
It's a good question. I wonder, like, is it like since they got back into the house, maybe like their spirits returned to the house in time?
Yeah, I think they said it was 2 months later.
Maybe it was a timing thing. So it's like they went back to where they were most comfortable. I don't know.
Maybe that's it.
My guess. That's my guess. They never said it, and it's fun to speculate. It's nice. I'm fine with them not saying the rules, but that's the way I feel. I don't know.
Maybe that's it, because I think they said it's been about 2 months. Like the house looked a little different because their friend, I forgot.
It had already been sold. It was already sold.
Janet was like staging the house or something.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Do you think that they handled their own death well? Like Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis.
I think they handled it too well. Like I feel like they coped pretty quickly, didn't they?
I guess we're dead now.
They were confused, but they skipped the whole level of grief, right?
It was really bizarre, wasn't it? I guess it's only an hour and 31 minutes. They don't have time for grief.
But there's a level of comfort in, like, you died with somebody, at least, you know? Let alone your husband and wife. It's like, you know, rather die with somebody than alone. That's nice, right?
Yeah. I guess it's like, if she didn't go with him to the store, even though they could have walked there, probably, that's how close it was. Mm-hmm. This would be a ghost Patrick Swayze situation.
Yeah.
Exactly what it would be. Yeah. What's I know they talk about it in the cartoon quite a bit, but was the sandworm just like a cool thing? Like, again, I know we're not getting the worms.
I don't think the worms have any rules. I think it's just a beast.
It's like you gotta stay in your
That's what it is. It's a beast of burden is what it is.
Let's talk about the Dietzes.
Well, she was riding it at the end. It's a beast of burden, right?
Yeah, she was. Beast of burden. Oh man, we never put the album out, did we? I made it. I have to post it. I'm the worst. I'm the worst with our show. Well, let's talk about the Dietzes. The house sells. You mentioned it. It sold. Jane finally got her sale. Like this family, they were alluding to him like, oh, this family from New York, they want to come in. They want to do this. Like, what are the ethics of her selling the house? So she was trying to sell that house the whole time that they were living there. Did she make the money off of this? Like, who? I got it weird. It was like, is that what it was?
The bank wins, baby.
Like,
so she's the realtor. She gets that profit, man. She double dips on the commish.
That's true. Seller and buyer there. I don't know. It just seemed like it was very unclear whether she cared whether they died or not.
I think she cared, but she's also kind of happy that the house got sold.
It's like, oh, what a shame. Like, my friends are dead.
To some New York yuppie scum, right?
What about the way that the house was? So it was like this nice farmhouse, and then the Dietzes come in and they're going to remodel it. Would you change this house if you moved into it, or could you live in that thing as is?
Oh, the funniest part to me was like the deck with the facing, but no walls around it.
It's so weird.
But I kind of like it.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I would keep that of the new. I would have them put that in.
It was like they blew the walls out, like like almost a hologram.
It was
an
extension. It was an extension, but without walls.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the family members. I want to talk about Chaz Dietz, the dad.
Dietz. AKA not John Ritter. I always thought it was John Ritter.
You thought it was John. Yeah. Well, what do you recognize this guy from? Like, I have a couple in my mind, but like, who do you, when you see this guy besides John Ritter, right? What movie comes to your mind?
Oh, he's Ferris Bueller's principal. He's Rooney.
Yeah. I think about Rooney, but I also think about a very hidden gem movie, Mom and Dad Save the World. Did you ever see that?
I thought that was John Ritter. Was it not? I'm just getting John Ritter mixed up with this guy all the time.
No,
this is the dad from Problem Child. Oh, wait,
no,
it's not. It's John Ritter.
I don't think they look the same, but
They don't. That's the funny thing. They don't look the same. I just get them confused.
Imagine a world where this guy was in Problem Child. Yeah. It's like, he's got the red hair, I guess. You can't have two redheads.
Yeah. Bill Paxton and Brian Pullman don't look alike, but yet let alone everyone confuses those two guys.
We should do Mom and Dad Save the World sometime. John Lovitz is pretty good in this. But what do you think this guy's job is? He needs to relax in the countryside.
He seems like the normal nice dad to the crazy wife and depressed daughter, but it turns out he's just as much of a bad guy as the rest of them. You know, It seems like he wants to eventually buy the town or sell the town, I should say, to kind of reform it, kind of make it.
It's like a theme park.
Well, yeah, the theme park thing came after they found that it was haunted, but before that, he kind of wanted to buy and sell the entire town as some kind of new wave hipster,
like a retreat,
like a New York, like a New Hamptons maybe or something like that.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Like a New Hamptons. It's true. Yeah, because like you could argue that these folks are like the villains of the movie, like Beetlejuice, just trying to get this house back. He didn't really do anything wrong. I mean, well, maybe we can get to that in a minute, but. He didn't really do that much. Like, I couldn't tell whether he was a real estate guy, especially with his boss.
That's what I felt. Yeah, well, real estate guy. That's what I saw him as.
Robert Goulet, like Maxie Dean.
For no reason, Robert Goulet.
It's just weird, too, because, I don't know, like you said earlier, right? It's the 80s, like, just go with it. Like, there really wasn't a plot. The plot was, hey, they died, they need to get this house back. And then there's just a bunch of stuff that kind of happens. I couldn't tell whether he was actually working for Robert Goulet or he wanted to work for Robert Goulet. He seemed like he wanted to impress him. And I think that's sort of a theme. Like, they're sort of a pathetic family when you really think about it, because he looks like he's just trying to impress his boss. Delia, the mom, stepmom, she's just out there trying to be an artist, but she's not very good, is she?
No, not very good.
What do you think of her art?
I mean, I would buy the tree-looking thing.
You like that thing?
Wouldn't you? I don't know.
Which one? The one that had the hands that she got locked in, or
the one she got kind of wrapped in. Like
it looks
like a nice chair. Like I would treat that as furniture. Like I would buy that as a piece of furniture. But yeah, they're not a family. They're three separate things. Yeah, they're nothing alike. All three of them. It seems like they're all just living together, but not husband and wife, not daughter.
Do you think it's a violation that she came in and like remodeled that entire place? Like how long do you have to wait before you do that type of drastic change?
The second you spend 1 cent on the house, it's your house, damn it.
Yeah.
You do whatever you want. It's not like a historical landmark. It's not Lincoln's log cabin. You can do what you want with it.
Lincoln's log cabin. No, Mount Vernon.
Yeah, whatever the hell. I don't care.
The White House.
Yeah,
I'll come back to that in a second because I have some more questions on that. But we got to talk about Lydia. What do you think of Winona Ryder's?
Do we have to talk about Lydia?
We don't have to talk about her much because, she, like you joked about, like we joke about it on the show. The vessel, she's the vessel, right? Yes. That we live through her. Mm-hmm. We live the show or the movie through her, right? She's the vessel which we experience the ghosts and the ghouls and all this other stuff.
Yeah, she's like the reason that Hot Topic was opened, right? This is the exact girl.
This
is that they had in mind
specifically, and then Jack Skellington.
Yeah, when Mr. Topic, decided to open the store, this is the girl he had in mind.
Mr.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, like, I don't know whether to put her on a Tim Burton scale or just a general emo scale. Yeah. Like, I just feel like the weird part was when she was writing that weird suicide note. Like, she felt so alone. In like a comedic way, in my opinion. Like, I'm not joking about suicide here, but like in this movie, in the context of this movie, like I didn't really get it. Where she's like, "I am so alone." Like, what was her plan?
She was being overly dramatic there. Yeah,
What was her plan? Like, what was she gonna do? She said she was
talked
gonna
about
join them.
jumping, no plummeting off of a bridge, and I didn't believe it. I didn't buy
Plummeting off of a 3-foot bridge. Like,
yeah, if it was the same bridge that the Maitlands fell off of, then she better.
You know when they say like you could drown in 3 inches of water, that's probably what they did because that was 3 inches of water. But like, how's she gonna plummet off a bridge? Like, if she's talking about jumping off the George Washington Bridge in New York, okay, that's different.
Yeah,
like,
I think she's talking about the barn bridge she can see from her bedroom window.
Yeah, she wants to join them. Like, what was she gonna do? Is like a little too emo for my taste here.
Yeah, I don't know, and it was kind of weird. Like, she's got a family there, and we don't know what happened to her real mother because the Kevin's mom from Home Alone is the stepmom, right?
Yeah.
So the real mom is gone. We assume she died tragically. I don't think it was a.
They never said.
I don't think it was a divorce situation. I don't know. She's more in a family in the Maitlands than she does her own family, and that's nice.
I liked the dynamic between them.
Sure, but I mean, it was pretty quick, and I don't know. It was a little desperate. I feel like on both parts, the Maitlands and her part, to come together. I don't know.
They had an hour and 31 minutes. They had
Got
to get to it.
Got to squeeze it together.
It was weird though. So like, if you let's say you were in your house, okay, and you walk upstairs and you find out that there's a hidden attic with a replica of our hometown, and you find out that there's 2 ghosts living up in your house. Are you going to befriend them? Like, what?
No, I'm not. I'm not sleeping tonight now. Damn it!
what would you do if you found that out? Like, we joked about it, right? Like, she, just like they handled their own death very quickly, she was very okay with the fact that there was ghosts there.
Yeah, I would exercise those ghosts immediately. Yeah.
You have to, right?
Yeah.
You call it Beetlejuice. The opposite of Beetlejuice.
What's the friend's name? The chubby
Otho?
friend. Otho. I'd call Otho up and have him do the spell.
I mean, I guess they were nice people.
Let's rot those some bitches right out.
You're calling up Dr. Egon Spengler is what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
We look him up in Tobin's Spirit Guide. Make sure we're dealing with the right full filming rapers here.
Well, let's talk about let's talk about exercising them and then scaring them out of the house. So there's the perspective of the Maitlands where they're helplessly watching somebody gut their house. Could you do that? Let's say you were the ghost and you were stuck in your house right now and you watch somebody come in and they're changing everything around. Like, could you handle that?
See, there's a lot of emotions that I assume you must go through if you're a ghost, right?
Yeah.
And you're watching the home that you created get torn up for this new age crap that they're trying to put in, right? She's a bad artist.
She's terrible.
She's terrible at it, right?
Even in the 80s, that was not good.
She has bad taste, horrible taste. What were the color of the walls and doors? It was like silver.
It was like a stone. It was like
stone silver. It looked like they were styrofoam. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like Legends of the Hidden Temple, like the walls and the doors.
Yeah, like spray painted sparkly silver.
Speckle.
Awful.
It's terrible.
So yeah, you have a right to be upset about that. I built this house. I made it look like it looks like a very, respectable farmland home, this and that. And then they just take a wrecking ball to it, literally smashing bad art through the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a right to be pissed off about it. However, you don't own that thing anymore. You're dead.
You're dead.
The dead don't have deeds.
As they say.
That's what they say. As they say. So really, like, do they have a right to be mad? You can understand them being bad, but do they have a right to be mad?
I think they have a right to be mad only because they're stuck there. But the Dietzes don't know they're stuck there.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Like, they don't really know that they're stuck there.
I guess if they actually just communicated, there could be a compromise, I suppose.
But how could they communicate?
I don't think Ms. McAllister would compromise.
No, absolutely not. I don't know. I mean, could you imagine? So, like, then put yourself in their shoes. Like, so you're saying that they don't have a right. Like, put yourself in the shoes of being stuck in that house while you're watching this. Like, what would you do?
Yeah, like like when you have if you have a bad neighbor,
yeah,
and there's like nothing you can do about it. It just stinks. They're making a bunch of noise. You walk outside, their garbage is everywhere. Whatever it may be. Imagine that scenario, but your bad neighbor now lives in your house.
Yeah, that's
and is just rearranging your entire life's work into your house. This is what's going on here.
It is. It's torture.
So yeah, I guess if the changes weren't so egregious, then I'd have more of a problem with the Maitlands being butthurt about dying and not being able to, save their house that they don't own anymore.
I agree with you.
Because of the bad neighbor scenario, yeah, I guess go ahead and haunt the shit out of them. Go ahead.
I guess that is a good. It's a good analogy. The neighbor one, like you're stuck in the house with them. It's literally like a jail for them.
Mm.
What about one other question about the house here, real quick? I was just thinking about this. So you said it looked bad, and it definitely did look bad.
Yeah.
But so in 1988, when this came out or whatever it was, the late 80s, like was that also bad for the late 80s? Like I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of like at that time.
Well, you think about
New Age.
Think
right?
about Julia Louis-Dreyfus's house in Christmas Vacation.
Yes, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Like that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or like, but I guess this is like an art version of that.
Ultra modern, like art modern. I don't know.
It looks, those houses never look good. Like there's timeless designs for a reason because that stuff looks instantly outdated in like 10 years.
Yeah.
But like her art was bad to your point. Like, so was it was very dark in there too. Like I get the whole Lydia thing is like, she's sort of that macabre, but like this was, you take like a really bright house and turn it into dark. It looked so claustrophobic and just like a prison, but maybe that was what it was on purpose for.
Yeah, I think so.
If they're stuck in the house, they're haunting them as ghosts. Like they got this setup here. What are they supposed to do? Like there's this whole afterlife scenario. I don't know if anything stood out to you at all. I'd be curious, like what stood out to you. Like we could break down things or we could just talk about it at a high level, but there was a few things that were interesting. What stood out to you the most, and what did you like the most of the afterlife kind of stuff?
I just liked it. First of all, like if we're kind of stumbling through this episode, you people, this is a very visual movie. This is hard.
Yeah,
it's a hard episode to explain, right? Break down. I loved the look of all of the different dead people in the office. Like I thought it was a very nice attention to detail of showing off why are these people here? Why do they die? How do they die? There's clues of everyone except for the Maitlands. But I kind of like the idea of there being a handbook for the dead and being like a help desk. This is like a help desk for the dead. What do you do when you die? I don't know. Nobody knows.
Instruction book.
When you die, nobody knows what to do. So we got to go find help. I kind of like it.
What'd you think of Juno, the caseworker? Like, is she supposed to be like the only caseworker? That's the kind of way that I got it because Beetlejuice was her ex-partner. Is that why the office is so backed up?
She's too old for the shit, man. A couple 100 years, who knows?
Do you ever see like super old people just puffing on a cigarette and you think like,
oh yeah,
you know what? You probably shouldn't be doing that right now. But I guess if they made it that long, then why not? Like, F it.
Yeah. No. Some people, it works weird sometimes. Some people get the lung cancer and some people can smoke double and be fine. So
like she was the double.
Well, she had her throat slit. So she didn't die. She didn't die from cigarettes.
Yeah, that's true. So I like you pointed out that thing where it was, what did they say? Everyone that died by suicide worked at the public service.
Yeah, there was a joke in The Living by the Dietzes that they said, "Oh, you don't want to commit suicide. Everyone who commits suicide works in the civil services in the afterlife." And they go and show in the afterlife.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, in the office, everyone has is hanging or has a wound or something related to suicide,
like self-inflicted. The one guy who was smoking, he died in like the chair. It was pretty funny.
So it's like, yeah, if you committed suicide, like why would you work at that ghost afterlife building? It's not your choice. They put you there. Is
there any other book that you would rather have besides like if you could manifest a real prop, like not the prop, but like a real thing?
Yeah.
Like what would you rather have anything besides the recently deceased book?
Well, we talked about National Treasure 2, the Book of Secrets, a couple episodes back.
What if you couldn't handle the secrets?
This would be very close, right? Could you handle the secrets, the real secrets of the United States, or the step-by-step how-to guide of how to be dead? I mean, what interests you more, the life or afterlife?
I feel like knowing the afterlife, because you're not dead yet. Whereas like if you saw the secrets of the United States, like you're here, Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, your brain might overload because it's like, oh my God, and then you got to tell somebody.
But your brain might overload if you read the Book of the Dead and it's something that you're not really wanting to look forward to.
Oh,
and
that's
then you're
true,
worried about
yeah.
dying every day for the rest of your life.
What would be in there that would make you feel that way? Like something you have to do, you mean? Or just the
like,
way
I don't
life
know,
is?
the chapter on purgatory.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
that
know.
would suck.
Yeah,
That would be really crappy.
I mean, I don't want to, but that, again, you could prepare to like not put yourself in that situation, right?
That's true. Maybe you should know it because everyone's going to die.
Okay. The Dead book is informative. You could use it while alive.
It's like the almanac, the sports almanac.
The Secrets book, it's like it's just a cool shit book, right?
Yeah.
Or horrifying, depending on the truths that you find.
That's true. Because the Secrets book, it might make you disgusted with what, what you're living with. Because it's like, oh my God, they did that.
We kind of suspect that, the country's, done some not nice.
There's some scummy stuff there. But you're right. Like, you could prepare. It's the equivalent of having the sports almanac. You can read the future. You're going to die. Like, everyone's going to die, right?
How could I die? How could I die best?
How can I prepare to be?
How can I put myself in the best situation to succeed?
I thought something was going to happen to them when Otho stole the book. Like, I was surprised that it was like a physical thing that they had, because they couldn't interact. Like, just, again, the rules, right? Like, they were interacting with all these things, but then no one could see them. So it was like odd, right?
Yeah. I still didn't know the rules of how like they got people to see them.
It was basically, they said that Lydia was, it was like sort of a blissful ignorance. Like, people don't believe in it because they're too distracted with life or something. And she wasn't. They glossed over it. It was like a lot of things in this movie were like one line that just sort of turned into something else.
She was on the edge.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll tell you what. Give me Tobin's Spirit Guide over all books. That's the one that I want to know.
You talk about facts and figures.
I need to know about ghouls.
You'll know exactly, how threatening the ghosts in your house are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you own a copy of Tobin's Spirit Guide.
I do own a copy. You bought it for me.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I can tell you anything you need to know about the ghouls, spooks, and specters.
Vigo the Carpathian's in that, right? I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
He better be.
What would be the book without him?
What is it? Marauders, and I forgot there's a very specific screenshot of the computer.
Mm.
Well, let's talk about very quickly the Maitlands as ghost. How would you rate them as a ghost? Do you think they're effective?
I thought that they did a good job.
Me too.
Early on, right? Underappreciated because they were trying to scare the wrong people, couldn't see them.
They were invisible, yeah.
But I thought they got ghastly pretty quickly with the beheadings and the face pulls and the whatnot. Right?
I love the face pulls, and when he like pulled his fingertip eyeballs, that was great. Yeah. And the beheadings were great. Like in The Office, like, man, imagine if you saw that. I'd be moving out like Amityville Horror style. I would definitely. I thought you would think that it would have worked. They called him amateur, but they did a great job.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, though. So like, it's a fine line because the job is to scare the people out of the house. What they did was so goofy when they finally were recognized is that it made the people want to turn it into an attraction.
That's true. That's true.
And then it becomes a spotlight on the dead. And we don't want that. The Office doesn't want that, right?
That's
true.
So
you either have to scare the hell out of them to where they don't want to step foot in the house again, or you want to play nice and befriend the people that live with you and learn to coexist. You don't want to be that middle ground, right? And they became the middle ground.
But what if you go too hard and then they bring in a priest and then they do an exorcist?
Yeah, so that's the problem. Yeah.
So there's like some weird middle ground, but not too middle.
I feel like you got to do increasingly creepy to the point where let's just sell this house. We don't.
Yeah, like, you know what? This is annoying. I don't feel like dealing with this.
Not like overly hardcore where it's like someone needs to know about this. Let's just sell it. Just creepy enough, and it's increasingly creepy. Do it at night while they're sleeping.
Yeah.
Let's just sell this house.
Have you ever been in a haunted house? Like a legit haunted house, something that you felt was haunted?
Well, so I never got this feeling, but I feel like, and I was younger at the time, so maybe this played a role in it, but my grandfather's house, there was something about the attic of his house that I just wanted no part of. Yeah, and it wasn't that it was particularly dark or it had weird stuff in it. There was just something where I was just like, I would take a couple steps up and I'd be like, we'll turn around.
Was it like Kevin McAllister? Like, you don't want to go in the basement?
Maybe, but it was like there was nothing creepy about it. Like there was no like scary furnace or anything like that.
Yeah.
And also in the house that I spent most of my teen years in with my mom and my sister, they swore the place was haunted. And I had no idea. And I had no idea.
Really?
had no evidence of this. Like they said, they heard things up in the attic all the time while they were sleeping, and depressions on the bed
Wow.
while they were sleeping, stuff like that. And I was like, no, never.
Wow.
So it could be a personality thing. Like, it could be spirits don't like me, or they could be crazy. One of three things. Who knows?
So you're not Lydia. You're
No.
you're the other people.
I'm willfully ignorant, I suppose. My grandmother said she used to talk to spirits all the time.
Really?
Who the hell knows? What about you?
So I've not been in like a house. I mean, I felt like, I guess, some weird energies in some certain places, but it wasn't a house that I went to. But have you ever been to, in Philly, there's Eastern State Penitentiary. If you haven't seen this place, look it up. It is a really, really old prison, like a very old prison in the United States, in Philadelphia, in the city. It's like in the middle of the city. I went up in this place one time, and they do like a haunted ghost tour there.
Yeah.
That place, whether it's haunted or not, I mean, some people say that it is. It is creepy as hell, and they don't try to not make it creepy.
Mm-hmm.
But look, I'm not sure whether ghosts are real or not or whatever. I don't know. But I can tell you that there's a weird energy in that place, and you could just you sort of feel it. And maybe it's like you bring it on yourself. I don't know.
I think that's part of it.
That's like the one place I could think of.
So I was there, but during like a Halloween scare event where they have actors and things like that, and I was saying during the event that like I would love to come here on the middle of the day, in the middle of the day on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
not with actors trying to scare me, jump out, boo, that whole thing. With like they have the murder rooms and they have like the fake chainsaws, things like that. Like that's like they're making a farce out of it. But like if I was there on a regular Tuesday at 9 a.m., just walking around the empty cells, I'm sure it would be super creepy.
So it wasn't creepy during the scare event because it was
because it was like clearly
cheesy.
a manufactured Halloween thing. Like it was fun, but like it stripped away the legit creepiness of 100-year-old prison.
The place isn't like outright scary. It's just it's got like a weird vibe to it.
The feel, yeah.
You go, if you guys haven't seen this place, go do a Google search. Just type in Eastern State Penitentiary, Philadelphia. Look up some pictures. There's some really, it was like Al Capone had a cell there one time. I didn't mean to take us down the haunting. Like we're gonna have to do another Halloween movie. Maybe we could talk more about that next episode that we do. But I wanted to ask you while we're talking about haunted houses and people haunting. Yeah. Let's talk about Beetlejuice, because we talked about it a little bit before. I think we should try to put him on the villain scale, if you're okay with it, because I feel like he's technically the villain.
I'm okay with it.
So let's do it. If you guys are new to the show, we have a villain scale. We put all the villains through it. It's 4 major categories: look or style, hideout or lair, plan, henchman, 1 to 5 for each. We'll see where he nets out at the end here. He's called to exercise the bios, the human bio exorcism. What do you think about his look or style? We talked about scumbag.
Yeah.
I mean,
and again, it's weird. We have an hour of this episode and we barely talked about Beetlejuice himself. Like, first of all, he's in the movie 15 minutes. Second of all, like I said, it's a visual movie, and it's a lot of talking about Beetlejuice on this episode would be a lot of remember this, remember that, which like obviously he did a great job. Michael Keaton did a great job. A lot of memorable lines, a lot of memorable scenes. Just him acting a fool at the time he was in the movie. Best off to just go rewatch it. But if we're talking look and style and we're going to score him, we got to talk about his powers too.
Yeah.
So this is a comprehensive list brought to us by the Beetlejuice Wiki, which it exists because there's a wiki everything.
Thank you to all the wiki editors.
So among his powers and abilities include reality warping, invulnerability, levitation, that's flight, regeneration, shapeshifting, teleportation of himself and others. He can conjure and summon objects. He can possess. He can mimic people's voices, aka ventriloquism, and some telekinesis. I mean, he's loaded. This is a loaded ghost. This is a ghoul. He's a ghoul. First of all,
he's a full-on ghoul,
a full-on demon ghoul. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you want to aside from his powers, which definitely give him some bonus points?
All right.
Let's just break down. Like, I know you like his hair.
So I know the word clown is like overused these days, but he has straight up like clown hair. He looks like Doink the Clown. Like, you know what I mean? He has. I don't know how to describe his hair. His hair starts halfway back his head.
It's like it's a balding afro. It's like a balding afro, right?
It's the most receding hairline that you can see. And his hair is my favorite. I mean, I love his hair.
It's up and it's out and it's receding.
Like,
Yeah.
think about, they could have made him look like anything.
Yeah.
I mean, what is Beetlejuice? You're right. Like, what is Beetlejuice? They could have made him
They could
look
have
like
made it
anything.
Hell of a
But
job.
I swear to God, like, we don't give out a lot of 5s here, but like, I want to give him a 5 because he has also multiple outfits. He's got the spikes that spike him. He's got the flannel shirt that he wears that makes him look like Alec Baldwin.
Yep. The classic striped suit. He has the tux, the red velvet wedding tux,
which was like straight out of like a Las Vegas, like a drive-through wedding place. And the fact that he has like the algae or whatever, the moss growing on his face.
He had the dirtbag bathrobe. He probably gets a 5.
Can we give him a 5, please?
He gets a 5. He gets a 5
because like his look is so good, and like it's like classic.
Yeah. Like you said it perfectly. What the hell's a Beetlejuice?
Like, what is Beetlejuice?
They created this look out of thin air, and it's like what they came up with was so batshit crazy.
It's so good, and like I mean, you talk about like his like accessories. He has like a gravestone. He's got all kinds of random stuff. He's got the talk about accessories. He's got the freaking like the newspaper clippings and all that stuff. He's so good. 5, hands down. Like, it's got to be a 5.
It's over. It's 5.
Now, the real question: what do you consider his hideout or his lair?
The whorehouse.
Oh, is that an accessory, or is that? Yeah, he should be hanging out there all day. I like how what's her name said that was her idea. Juno was like, "Oh, that's my idea."
We'll distract him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you consider it?
Yeah, I don't know, because I feel like you can't claim property ownership of this place. It's almost like a prison for him.
Like the cemetery.
Yeah, but it is a cool place to live. You know, might as well. I'll give it a 2 because he can't claim ownership of it. If
she didn't want him to like help anybody, why did she banish him there where the ghosts were?
Again,
like,
the rules, we don't know what the rules are.
And maybe one other stupid question, you don't have to answer this, I'm just going to ask it for the sake of asking it because we need to. Was he just banished, or was he banished like 600 years ago? She's like, oh, he's a former partner of mine. Did they just break up? Maybe it was just like a recent thing, and that's why he was at the cemetery.
I feel like he's had other romps, before the Maitlands. It's just he always ends up back in purgatory or whatever you call that, like ghoul prison.
I feel like maybe it's a 2 because the cemetery is not great, and like he requires you to say his name 3 times. Maybe that's part of the plan to leave it, so he can't really get out of it. He's sort of stuck in the house too. Like, I don't know. It's weird, right? Like, I don't really know. He doesn't have the greatest hideout lair, or is it so great because he's right under their nose? I say a 2 because I feel like it's neither good or bad.
It's neither good or bad, and he can't claim ownership to it. It's kind of just where he has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about his plan? Does he have one?
His plan is to get someone to say his name 3 times so he can spread his legs out and hopefully gain a wife so he can become free. And don't ask me again. Don't ask me why that is. It's just the way it is. He even says it. I don't know. Just the rules. I don't know. I don't make the rules.
But that's why Michael Keaton's so good, because he's just like the way he talks in this.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine anyone else playing this character? I couldn't.
No. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's almost like a Jim Carrey.
Exactly.
In the mid 90s, but really that's it.
Yeah, is Michael Keaton the original Jim Carrey? If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, he has the ability to just let loose, right? Just lose himself in a character for sure.
It's like I
bet Jim Carrey took some notes for sure
from him. Yeah. I don't know his plan. So his plan is to get out, but his plan is also to help people. Like, it doesn't.
That's like the quid pro quo, right?
Yeah, like. I don't know how to rate this.
I'll get rid of your humans if you say my name so I can come out and have some fun, right?
He just wants to have fun. Yeah, he's like a poltergeist or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's a bad idea because it's like the cat in the hat, right? It's like you let him out, he's gonna fuck your house up. But
what do you say? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's like a 2 again because it's not good or bad. It's just it is.
I'd give him a 3. I'd give him a 3 because it's a simple plan, but it's effective. Just whatever lie he can say to get you to say his name.
And he actually would have got away with it. If I don't want to pull.
And he saved them. He saved them. He
did.
Even if it took the marriage of Lydia, that's collateral damage.
He was successful.
I don't know what happens once he marries Lydia. I don't know what becomes of Lydia. I don't know. Does he get alive? He gets to stay, I think.
But does he become alive then? Because he's like,
no, I don't think he gets to be alive. But I think he does get to roam freely amongst the living.
That's interesting. And I don't know the cartoon rules. I don't even remember. We got to.
Let's not even worry about if they were to like, consummate the marriage. Like,
oh man,
if there was a pregnancy, I don't know.
Yeah,
let's not even get into that. What ghoul baby would be formed?
Save that for after the credits.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know about that. Well, I do, but not right now. But
yeah.
What about a henchman? Does he have any? Like, I don't know that
you can't. The sand snake is not his property.
No.
It's kind of it's kind of does its own thing. No henchman.
Not the guy with the shrunken head guy either. Like that's not really.
No, that guy hates him.
I guess we got to give him just a 1 because he doesn't really have any.
He's a loner.
So, all right, let me recap for everybody. So 5 for look and style, one of the best that we've seen on this show thus far. 2 for hideout or lair, 3 for plan, and 1 for henchman. That gives him an 11 out of 20. Not bad.
Not bad.
And you could even consider him maybe not a villain anyway.
Yeah, so, it's more of a pest than anything.
I mean, you're right. Like, look, this is a tough movie. I don't want to do remember this, remember that. I love this movie. I think it's great. It's fantastic, and it was a fun watch. It's not even that we didn't talk about Michael Keaton. It's like, how did you, right? Like, I don't know what to talk about.
Just gotta watch it for yourself. Yeah, we'll fill you in on how to escape a drowning car and how much underwear to bring on the trip. But
that's what I mean.
If you want to talk about Michael Keaton's Beetlejuice, just watch it because he's better than us talking about it.
Maybe before we leave the listeners here, there's been rumors and all kinds of stuff. If you go on IMDb right now, there's actually a poster for it, whether it's the real one or not. Is they're making a Beetlejuice too? I don't know if you know this. It's in production.
Yeah.
Would you watch this movie, and does it need to be made? Maybe I'll flip those. Does it need to be made, and would you watch it?
Yes.
It doesn't need to be made, but you'll watch it.
Yeah, I'm a Michael Keaton fan, so I feel like it'll be fun. Is it necessary? Not at all. Not at all. And it's like 20 years too late.
Yeah.
But this is what they do. But, maybe I'm part of the problem for supporting it, even though I probably won't pay for it. I'll watch it, but I won't pay for it.
Yeah. So. I think they were talking about making a sequel for a real long time, and they wound up going, Burton abandoned it because they wound up doing Batman. He went up doing Batman Returns, and they just sort of got away from him. But
yeah,
we said it in the look and style side. He wears so much makeup in this, Michael Keaton. It doesn't matter what he looks like. So it's like, you could make this and he's 70 years old. It doesn't matter. He's got the voice. He still can act. So bring it on. I'll watch this. Sure. I don't mind. So let us know if you guys would watch it. Send us an email, thelastropodcast@gmail.com, or write into us. All the social channels at The Last Row Pod on X, Twitter, Instagram. Leave a comment on the episodes page on the website, thelastropodcast.com. And if you're enjoying the show, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. And please consider leaving us a 5-star review if you're enjoying the show. Thanks to everybody that did so far. We'll be back in 2 weeks on Thursday, October 19th, with a Halloween-themed episode. We haven't picked it yet. Send us in some suggestions to all the places that I mentioned.
Something spooky.
Something spooky for Halloween. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Zoop.
So the consummation of that marriage? How old is she? Maybe we can't
first
even
of all,
talk
that's
about
why
this.
we can't even.
Yeah, we can't even talk about it.
She's a minor.
Yeah, she's a minor. This is
talk about scumbags. I mean, he's 600 plus years old though.
Okay,
so
yeah.
like everyone's too young.
Yeah, we can't talk about that.
Let alone a 17.